Disney Plus has posted another teaser for the upcoming PJO show, and with this news, I'm going to share my interpretation of this trailer. Without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing we see in this trailer is a view of a bridge and then a museum. The museum is something I want to highlight here, because this is the venue of the first scene in the first book, the museum that Percy and his class went to for the school field trip. We then cut to Walker Scobell, or the actor who plays our main character Percy Jackson, in that museum, and we see him check out some statues from Greek mythology, which is really accurate to the book, because in the first chapter of The Lightning Thief, or the book they're going to adopt, Percy and his class went to a museum for Greek and Roman gods, and this scene right here just shows that happening. We then see Walker glance down at his assignment, and we see him not able to read the paper because of his dyslexia. Again, a cool detail there, because Percy has both ADHD and dyslexia, which are actually normal traits of demigods. We then see Aryan Simhadri, Grover Underwood's actor, get hit by a bully, and Walker clearly gets upset and is about to tell the bully off, but Grover motions him to stop. This part is really good, because this is once again so accurate as to what happens in the book. Both Grover and Percy were bullied by a classmate of theirs named Nancy Wobblefit, and she loved to mess with them and get them in trouble. We actually get to see Olivia Morton, Nancy Wobblefit's actress, for a short bit, and it's clear that she's the one who hit Grover. In the book, Grover is the main target for bullies, and Percy would often get in trouble trying to defend him. Because Percy often got in trouble in doing so, Grover kept telling Percy to just let it pass. So seeing Grover get hit, and then Percy stepping up to defend him, and then Grover telling him to stop, just shows that Percy often fought against the bullying they experienced, but he stopped himself at that moment because he knew he'd just get himself in trouble. Throughout all of this, Percy tells us iconic lines word for word from the first book. "My name is Percy Jackson. Am I a troubled kid? You could say that." Going further with the trailer, we get a quick shot of Walker with a pen, which is obviously Riptide, Percy's pencil that he uses throughout the books. We also get an incredible shot of Mrs. Dodds, hinting that she was a Fury from Hades, whom Percy would eventually kill later on. We then jump to this part of the trailer, where Percy gets thrown down and Mrs. Dodds in her Fury form attacks him. Again, this looks amazing, especially how Mrs. Dodds looks like. That's exactly how I pictured the scene. Though something to notice is that it's outside instead of inside the museum like it was in the book. We then get another great scene with Walker or Percy talking with Virginia Kull, aka Sally Jackson's actress. Sally asked Percy if he saw something that nobody else could, which references how Percy was attacked by Mrs. Dodds and that nobody saw or knew who she was. We then see Lance Reddick, Zeus's actor, and a shot of demigods training in Camp Haploid. Again, they look incredible. After this, we see Percy and Sally in the room, which I assume is their house in Montauk, when they suddenly hear knocking. They open the door to find Grover there, and we get a shot of his satyr legs, as Percy demands why did Grover have goat legs. Again, this is really accurate as to what happened in the book. We then get shots of camp, and it absolutely looks like how we imagined it. We also see Chiron in his horse version walk inside a room, which I assume is the big house or a cabin in camp. The only difference in Chiron in this part was that Chiron in the book was a white horse and not the dark version we see in this trailer. But either way, this looks great. We also get a scene of the Hermes cabin, which makes sense since during this time, Percy was not claimed yet by Poseidon, and the unclaimed demigods were often brought there first. After this, we see campers cheering, and I wasn't able to see it at first, but in the middle is actually Dior Goodjohn, the actress who plays Clarisse LaRue, which means this is probably during Capture the Flag, and an incredible scene comes after this. Percy was fighting off other campers, and I recognized it instantly. This part was during Capture the Flag, and Percy was attacked by demigods from the Ares kids, after Percy had an argument and accidentally attacked Clarisse LaRue, one of the Ares demigods. Because of this, they attacked him, and this scene showed Percy trying to fight them off, which is exactly what he does in the book version. We then get fast scenes of Aryan as Grover, and Leah Sava Jeffries as Annabeth, and they both look great in Camp Haploid shirts. And then, we see Glynn Turman as Chiron, and a shot of Percy in the rain. We saw the rain scene originally in the first teaser, so if you want to check that out, there's another video of that which is linked down below. The next scene shows the underworld with Percy and Grover, which is the part of the book when they met Hades to get Zeus's lightning bolt, after Percy was accused of stealing it. After, we get a scene that I didn't really recognize at first, before it dawned on me that there were statues in this part, which made me realize that this was when the trio met Medusa. The next part cuts to the trio in the Lotus Hotel, where they got stuck there for days. And then, we see Adam Copeland, who plays the god of war Ares on his motorcycle, and this time, he has the jacket and sunglasses described in the book. After that, the trailer shifts to Percy and Annabeth in front of a statue, and this is probably them trying to get Ares' shield. Before this, the scene with Ares was probably the part of the book when the trio was bargaining with Ares to get information on the lightning thief, and in exchange, Ares sent them on a quest to get his shield back. The quest Ares gave them is probably this part of the trailer. The next part shows probably the best part of the trailer. We see Annabeth give Percy a hug, which almost made me tear up, because this is one of the first moments we ever get a hint on Percabeth. Already, I'm in love with the idea of seeing their relationship develop on screen, and I'm honestly so happy about it. And then, we see them reach a place called Waterland, which is the amusement park that Ares sent them to go get his shield. We see Percy and Annabeth go on a ride and then jump out of it, which resonates really well with what happened in the book. The next scene shows Echidna, the mother of monsters from Greek mythology. In the book, she attacked Percy with a chimera, and Percy ended up falling out of a building, but he survived when he fell into the water, which is what happens in this part. And then, we see the Minotaur chasing Sally, Percy, and Grover, before Sally tells Percy to be brave. Again, amazing scenes, because we were already getting hints on the Minotaur scene since the first teaser, and seeing it now made me so happy. Sally then transforms into gold, which indicates that she disappeared, though Percy during this time thought she died. And then, we get an interesting scene. Percy uncaps his pen to get Riptide, and it glows before he charges at the Minotaur. Though this scene is really cool, I was a bit iffy about it, because I don't remember Percy having a sword with him during the Minotaur scene. So I went back to the book, and I realized I was right. Percy did not have Riptide, because he gave it to Chiron, and he only got it back once he arrived in camp. So there's a detail change here that I didn't really expect. I'm okay with it, but I just preferred the book version, because Percy literally destroyed the Minotaur with his bare hands and strength as a demigod son of Poseidon. This scene just showed how powerful and big of a deal it was to be a demigod of the big three, because Percy was 12 years old with absolutely no training whatsoever. So giving him a sword in this scene sort of diminishes just how powerful Percy could be unarmed. The trailer ends with this scene, and from all of this, I'm so excited for this show. So how about you? What do you think of this teaser? Let me know in the comments down below.